I had 21 strikes, and then like I say, our ship got hit by a kamikaze on April 16th, 1945.
Is that the leave when you came home?
That was the second time we got hit. And the first time I was flying. The second time I was on board, and in what they call a condition 13, ready to take off, but we never got off. We had to go try to find a safe place when the suicide plane starts strafing the deck with his machine guns, and then hit the bomb went off in the hangar deck, killed everybody on the hangar deck, and we were in the island in the middle of the carrier, and the guy next to me caught a piece of, it was my wingman at that flight, which we never took off, caught a piece of shrapnel in his leg, and the ship was, of course, doing all kind of evasive action because the sky was full of kamikazes, and finally we left the area and tried to go to get our. It bent a number 3 elevator shaft, which controls. We have 3 elevators. We need them all 3 of them to utilize the operation of the flight operation, but we couldn't get that fixed at Ulithi. We went back to Pearl Harbor and couldn't get it repaired there, so we finally went back to the States, and that's when I got a leave, and that's when I took a picture with my mother, you know, because she hadn't seen me, you know, for quite a while. And then we went.
And you saw Mom each time you came home?
Yeah. Well, I only came home one time from overseas.
And while you were home, you said something happened while you were on leave? Mom's dad?
Yeah, that's right. Mom's dad died, yeah.
While you happened to be home on leave?
While I happened to be home on leave, yeah.
And she was 16? And
she was 16 and Barbara was 6.
Okay.
Her sister Barbara was 6 years old. So fate had it that I was home at that time. He just dropped dead. He never was sick. He's a heavy smoker, and just dropped dead in his grocery store.
I thought he died of a heart attack.
Yeah, a heart attack, yeah.
And he said he was a heavy smoker?
He was a very heavy smoker, along with a lot of other people. Smoking was a very prevalent thing in those days.
Did you and Mom smoke?
I smoked pretty heavy. Mom might have taken a cigarette now and then. She wasn't a smoker. But I smoked a lot of cigarettes. And probably smoked more in the Navy because cigarettes on board ship were 50 cents a carton. Not a pack, 50 cents a carton. I think there's 50 cents each cigarette nowadays.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But they were 50 cents a carton, and everybody seemed to smoke. Where we could smoke, we couldn't smoke everywhere on board ship, but we did a lot of smoking.
So, all right, so you came home from the war in December of 45.
December 45.
Oh, November.
And November 45, and we got married in December 45.
Were you engaged while you were gone, or
No,
did you just planned a really quick little wedding?
We never was really engaged. I think I gave her a little wedding ring and the engagement ring together almost, maybe a week apart.
And you got married in your uniform?
Got married. I was still in the Navy, yeah. We couldn't wear civilian clothes.
Ah, okay.
They weren't allowed yet. The war just over, and we couldn't wear civilian clothes, so I got married in uniform. We have a lot of pictures of that. And we had orders to, on the West Coast, they ask you what you want to do there because they were trying to keep you in the Navy. When the war ended, people were abandoning the services like crazy. Everybody was getting out, so they gave you anything you wanted to do. And I really wanted something that would keep me on American soil. I didn't want to go to sea again. I didn't want to go a 9-month cruise again, no matter even when it was peacetime. So I picked GCA, ground controlled approach, where I became a approach controller and talked airplanes in bad weather by radar. We were a mobile unit that's set up, and we talked airplanes in. called GCA, Ground Controlled Approach. So I got orders from there, from the West Coast to the Naval Air Station, Gainesville, Georgia.
And you were married at this time.
Yeah, so we started out, couldn't get out of Kansas City for 3 days because the snow was over the tops of cars. That's how bad it was. Finally, we started out, wound up in Springfield, and had to call the hotel doctor because I was really sick. The old Dodge that we drove, you could watch your trip through the floorboards and down below. You could look down and see the highway under you. That's how old the 39 Dodge was. It belonged to my wife's family. And everybody did everything to it. Did nothing to it, actually, but put gasoline in it. Nobody ever changed the oil during the war, nothing. Just nobody took care of it.
And they didn't need that car? They let you take it?
They let me take the car, 39 Dodge. And I drove it to Springfield, wound up had to stay there a couple days because I was sick. And then we started out for Gainesville, Georgia again, which was south. So we started running into south to good weather, and arrived at the Naval Air Station, Gainesville, Georgia. I drove up to the gate, and I says, Lieutenant Dubinsky reporting for duty to the Marine Guard. He says, I'm sorry, sir, this base is secured. That means it's closed up. I had 30 days leave. The Navy didn't notify me that they closed the base that they sent me to. The base was closed. So we checked in the hotel in Gainesville, Georgia, New Year's of 45. Yeah, 45.
This is like 2 weeks after you got married then.
Yeah, checked in the hotel, and the county that Gainesville is was a dry county, New Year's. So I fired my revolver out the window New Year's Eve, and wired Washington for further orders. I didn't know where to go. So we got orders to Naval Air Station, Banana River, Florida, and that's where they moved the training for the ground controlled approach. And lived next door to us, so another guy in my squadron took the same course, and Wes Hayes, a real nice guy, and he's still alive. He's about 3 years older than I am, and he lives in Texas. And we babysat for their 1-year-old baby they had, Harriet and I. And I got pictures of them with me holding the baby. That was in 1946. And the boy is now superintendent of schools of the state of Texas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's got a nice family. He's got a big ranch in Texas, and he had 2 airplanes at one time. And I correspond with him all the time. In fact, he's the one that sent me the copy of this book, autographed. And sent it to the author to get it autographed, and then sent it to me.
Huh.
And Wes Hayes.
What's the name of that book?
God. Something about the warriors, some of the final warriors or something.
Okay. So, all right, so you went to Florida, and
Florida.
you became the ground control approach guy.
I became a ground controls, and when I finished my training, I went into GCA. I figured that's the best way to stay in the United States.
Right.
Become a GCA control officer. So I finished my training there. In the meantime, I had my mother, Harriet's mother, and Barbara, her sister, over to stay with us in our house right on the beach. We lived right on the beach, and I got pictures of them in the ocean, all of them in the ocean, which was quite an experience for them. And got ordered to Tsingtao, China. So I wired Washington back. I says, if you send me to Tsingtao, China, I'm getting out now. I'm not staying in the Navy. Because I didn't, and I wielded some power at that time because everybody was getting out of the service. The service needed people, so they changed it to Naval Air Station, Norfolk, Virginia. And we lived at Oceana, a beautiful area north of Norfolk, and started out there. And about 4 months, I got orders to Guantanamo Bay, Florida. To Cuba. So again, I wired Washington that I'm not going to go there. I'm going to stay here. I got married. I don't want to go. So they relented again. but I knew I wasn't going to be able to keep that up. They weren't going to listen to me all the
Right.
time. So I decided to, after I did make regular Navy, I decided to get out in 47. I got out in June of 1947, and flew in the reserves at Olathe Naval Air Station for 3 years till the Korean War started. Fortunately, I got out a month before the Korean War started. They called up my squadron, but I didn't have to go. And
So you came back to Kansas City because that's where your family was,
yeah.
and you got in the grocery
I
business
got in the grocery business for 7 years
with Mom's family.
with,
Didn't-
yes, my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I wanted to get out of the grocery business. I didn't like the hours. I didn't like anything. So I went.
But you were in the grocery business when you had your family, when Jeff and I were born. You were still in the grocery business.
Yes.
So tell me, did you plan to have children?
Yes.
I mean, you had a family plan.
We planned that we wanted a boy and a girl, and we almost got a boy and a girl. We got two.
So how did Mom tell you she was pregnant the first time with Jeff?
I think she used the famous word, "I'm pregnant." I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I don't remember how. But we kind of planned our family.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you with her when she delivered Jeff?
I think I was, yeah. I think I was with her for both births.
Well, yeah, I remember you almost didn't make it for mine, right? What was that story? You were down in Texas with Jeff for allergies.
Oh, yes, we were in, yes.
Uncle Max?
We drove back. We took Max with me.
Oh, you were in Amarillo, yeah.
Yeah, I went to Amarillo because Jeff had allergies, and we took him down there because the weather was better for whatever allergy he had.
He
and
was
we
two,
got a call
yeah.
that her water broke, and so Max and I started back. I slept for about 2 hours, then we started right back, and I pretty soon I was so tired, I said, "Max, you drive." And so I showed him exactly what road to stay on, and he started driving back, and I took a nap, and pretty soon I heard sirens and lights flashing, and we were stopped by the police in, I think it was in Dodge City, Kansas. I said, "Max, didn't you see he was going the wrong way on a one-way street." I said, "Max, didn't you see the arrows?" He says, "I didn't even see the Indians." I mean, so I took over then. I had about 3 hours sleep, and I drove back to Kansas City. I think I got here before Marcy was born.
Was Jeff in the car with you again, or did you leave him in Amarillo?
No, I left him in Amarillo. I had enough problems with Max. I didn't need Jeff too. Jeff was just a kid.
Yeah, he was 2.
Yeah,
He was 2 and a half when I
yeah.
was born.
So Aunt Sarah took care of him. And of course, Aunt Sarah came and took care of Mom too. Helped me.
Oh, really? After we were born, she came up? After I was born, she
No,
came
when
up?
she got cancer, when Mom got cancer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, she came and stayed with us.
Do you remember, did Mom nurse us, or did she use formula?
Well, actually, I don't even know. I don't remember. I can't remember back 60 years, almost 60 years.
So, were you a hands-on dad? Did you change diapers?
Yeah, I think I did everything. Yeah.
You fed us and read
Yeah.
us stories and
Oh yeah. Took you to parks and took you to the zoo and I don't remember all we did, but I know one thing: I couldn't go to bed until you kids were home.
oh, I remember that.
Yeah. And
So The house on 401 East 64th Terrace, was yours and Mom's first house that you bought?
We bought a lot there and built a house.
You built that house?
Yeah.
What'd that cost you?
I think I paid $2,000 for the lot, and the house cost about $20,000, I think. I remember correctly.
And then we lived there until I was in half a kindergarten
Well, we lived there. We built this other house.
in 56.
Was
We,
it
we moved in January of 56. 56 or 57?
No, 56, because there was a big snowstorm in 57. We couldn't get out of there.
Yeah.
And we were scrounging around the neighborhood. There's only about 3 houses
Right.
that were built. Anybody got cigarettes or milk? We traded off for different things because we couldn't get out of the garage.
Yeah.
So that was February of 1957.
57. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're still in the same house?
54 years.
Yeah. It's paid for by now, huh?
2 more payments and it's mine.
How much did that house cost?
About 32,000.
And you were a pioneer in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Mission
Pioneer
Road
out
was
south. This was one of the first housing developments there was, Cherry Hill. Now there's a lot of them, but that was the first one out there.
How did you decide to move that far away and into Kansas and that far away into the suburbs? Was it just like really weird?
Well, people thought we were crazy moving clear out there,
How did you decide to do that?
Well, we got a pretty good buy on the lot, pretty good buy on the house, so we decided to go ahead and make the change. I don't know. I mean, it was mutually done between the two of us. So I think we each had a car at that time because you needed transportation. There wasn't any public transportation, or there isn't now even, transportation. So I guess we did it because we wanted to better ourselves. And the house actually on 64th East Terrace wasn't conducive to raising a family. It was too small.
Yeah.
We turned the garage into a den. We didn't have a garage because the garage we made a den out of the garage. And we thought it would be better living conditions and everything else for that house.
So you said you were in the grocery business for 7 years, and then you got in the insurance business.
Went with Max Wade in the insurance business, yes. I applied to Max, and he says he'd be glad to have me. And we stayed together since till I retired.
How old were you when you retired?
Well, I think I was maybe 70 years old.